What? Wow, you're here.
G'day, mate.
Yeah, Free Range American. I want to say this might be the first Australian on Free Range American.
Yeah,
it's possible. I don't want to offend any other Australians. If I forgot you, I'm probably gonna Bilko's gonna call me. What the fuck am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Do it, Chewy.
Yeah. That's actually pretty impressive that you haven't had any more Aussies, seeing how much time you spend in Aussie and how much time you spend around Australians. So that's a privilege to me.
I guess so. I haven't been to Australia yet. My first time is this year. I can't wait. Going to Brisbane for Nitro World Games. I got a host job.
That's awesome.
So live TV, I better clean my fucking mouth up.
Yeah. You just hang around so many Aussies. I just assume you'd been there so much. You had all the lingo down pat.
Well, it's a lot of Aussie military guys. I know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Out in Perth.
Yeah, we're the front line, right? Are we still the front line in military? Maybe not.
Probably. I don't know. You guys do pretty good. You guys have some cool programs.
We're allies of the US, huh?
You guys were actually doing really hard recruiting about 5 or 6 years ago to us, essentially giving American veterans a lot of bonuses and stuff if you were to come over and become a citizen and join your military. That's a really good idea.
That's great. Mate, American guys, Aussies love the American accent. So, I mean, they love it if American's authentic. They don't like it when Aussies bunging on. So, it's I've got to keep me slang up there, mate.
Well, I mean, the first thing I learned working with the Aussie military was the entire. You almost have to have a cheater card for the different cunts.
Yeah, you do.
but most of them are good.
Yeah,
except a shit cunt.
Yeah, shit cunt. Or just a cunt is real bad. But if you're a sick cunt or a hot cunt or a mad cunt, then you're good. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Robbie Maddison. Robbie, you hold the 125cc longest jump world record, the 250cc
research
world record. You hold the longest distance traveled on water at 31 miles.
Yeah. On a motorcycle.
On a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Do you ever just read a book? Or are you too busy breaking fucking world records?
It's funny. You know what? To be honest, I sucked at reading all through school. I used to read this one book called I Wish I Had Duck Feet. And I read another documentary called, what was that called? I can't even remember it. But I'm not much of a reader. But then after having some head injuries, having viral meningitis, viral encephalitis, finding my passion of motorcycle riding again at 16, I started reading some books, some self-help books because I needed help. Don't we all? But yeah, I kind of go in waves, but yeah, man, it's I think for me, some of the books that I've read have been more self-help to find who I am as a person, and then that kind of set me off about going on about all these world records, doing these crazy shit, coming up with ideas and making it happen, and it's refreshing. I'm still on that path.
This is a lot of work, though. I mean, you could just not even putting the skill, the training, and time that it takes to even get to one of these, but even if you just said, okay, every year we're going to do a different world record. It's you have that list. It just keeps going on. This is a lot of time. Yeah. This is a lot of effort.
A lot of time, a lot of effort invested into this, and trying to stay with the times. It's I started riding dirt bikes at 4 years old, become an electrician at 16, raced full on up.
Finished your grade 10.
Finished grade 10. Yeah. Then left. Then became a Sparky. And, I grew up racing dirt bikes and I always wanted to ride dirt bikes professionally, but I kind of just got instilled into me that wasn't a smart choice. And then after having a near-death experience, I was like, that's what I want to do. So I just decided to follow it, and it's been amazing for me. But now it's, now after, you say, all this effort and all this stuff I've done over the last 15 years, and all these records and whatnot.
Well, it's not even just sitting in the fact of you pitching a world record to Red Bull or somebody like that. You set a record on Skyfall, didn't you? For the craziest stunt bike with a vehicle scene ever.
Yeah. We won an award, an industry award for Screen Actors Guild Award. So yeah. Man, blessed. I've had a lot of ups and a lot of highs and just different kind of career, I guess. But the freestyle motocross was huge for me, and And, you know, I think we all took a year off last year, but then before that, I took another year off just for personal things. We had some shit go down that was like, you know, that everyone has in their life. And then after processing all that, it's like now I'm like kind of feel really re-energized and trying to figure out how to like live life with my boys and my wife involved in my life and make it awesome for all of us, rather than me just being busy and being like, don't leave me alone. Like, Dad's busy. I don't want to do that to my kids. I want to be able to integrate them in my life and share this experience with them, because I don't want to get like, you know, well, I'm already at 40, but I don't want to get to say 60 and be like, well, I miss my kids' upbringing. So yeah, I'm trying to stay young.
Yeah, well, you know what? I definitely can relate to you on that, because I've noticed that this last year too. Whereas, you know, I'm used to telling them, stop it, go away. Yeah, we're busy right now. Yeah, but now, like within the last few months with Charlotte, like taking interest in the driving and dirt biking, it's like, wait, no, I can't kick them out. Like, I need to nurture this. They're into the shit that I'm into. Yeah. Come on. So like having to remind myself to just pause whatever I'm doing and kind of jump into that with them for a little bit. Yeah. So they kind of feel accepted in those things. So they don't resent the dirt bikes or the racing or the car driving or anything. I want her to be like, oh, I want to practice. I want to do this.
Things to like segregate them from you, right? And then like, oh, now I don't want to do it because that's what takes Dad away from me or something like that. So,
exactly.
And that's with me, like, you know, my wife does an amazing job, takes the kids to the skate park and the pump track all the time, and they got a little wives group down there. And for the most part, I am busy, but it's like, you know, putting a roof over the head, putting food on the table, and keeping myself sane. It's a big job.
There's two big things that I know and love about you that I want to kind of touch on here. Is the first one. I love that you're a go ahead and tell me no type of person, because that's how I am. Like your fucking biggest mistake is telling me it's not possible or you're never gonna do that.
Never gonna do that. Yeah.
They said that about the movie, and well, guess what? We made the fucking movie.
That's right.
But coming like kind of looking at your history, like there was this time period where you were focusing on records and then the stunt work because you were getting good movie gigs and things like that, and then you had some of your peers try and talk shit and say, oh, you're just a stunt guy. So you turned around and went to X Fighters and beat them all in freestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, if people want to put a label on you and categorize you and limit you, right? And it's like, when that shit started going down, like I got known as like, oh, you're just the guy that does the world record jumps and
we see you on New Year's.
Yeah. And for the most part, that kind of worked against me for part of my career, because I remember going to events and clearly winning and going to the judges and saying, why the fuck am I in second place? And they're like, well, you get enough exposure doing what you do, like share it around the other guy. And like, that's not what it's about, you know? And that's kind of what made me resent X Games and you know, all the competition side of things that really pissed me off.
You're not the first person to say that, but
yeah.
One of our joint close friends just finally told me the story about his first X Games win, and he should have had 2 gold medals. And one of the judges was fucked up, like high and fucked up, and they needed to suppress that. And essentially X Games coming to him going, listen, if you don't make a big deal about this, we'll make it worth your while. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like,
no, I know that feeling. I mean, all too well. I've definitely missed out on a couple of gold medals that should have been in my trophy cabinet, but at the same time, it motivated me to go out and just keep doing, like you say, you know, they say you can't do this, and then whatever, I have these visions and ideas I want to do, and then, you know, when people don't want to support it and just keep going and doing it, it's like, I'm not telling you, like, I'm not trying to get your approval to do this. I'm like, I'm telling you what I'm going to do. And so it's like, whether you're on board or not, I'm still going to do it. And it's like, I think that's like a strong testament to who I am. But it's what keeps me happy, you know? And so essentially the competition side of things didn't really suit my energy anyway, because I feel like I'm not part of that crowd. I want to just be my own person and do my own stuff. And it was a great period of my life, and I had like met, you know, still friends with all those guys, and it was such an amazing experience to travel around the world. But it's unfortunate because part of me really wanted to try and fix action sports, because I see it in all the different categories, like whether it's BMX, skate, you know, you name it. There's a corruption side of it, because, and it's not probably nothing's set out that, oh, we're going to do this and we're against this guy. It's just the way it comes out. There's not a you know, specific way of judging it, and
it's a hard thing to judge.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Like because at some point you have to say, someone somewhere has to decide that an
Each
Indian air is
X amount of
harder
points.
than this, or this is harder than this, or this just string. And there's a lot of subjectivity to that.
It is.
But the biggest problem I've seen with all those action sports communities, and this has gone on for the last 20 years, is the whole of the group of people, where there's only a few that really understand it. They don't understand that they're entertainers.
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain. Yes, there's a competitive nature to that, but this is about entertainment. So, okay, everyone in that pocket needs to get together and go, okay, as entertainers, we are trying to fuel and keep a sport alive.
Yeah.
And your best case study to look at the failures in that is skateboarding. Skateboarding is about dead because of the personalities inside it, because the late 90s, the early 2000s, and the mid 2000s, the personalities that were, you had Tony Hawk, who was a very approachable, very good role model, but all the mid-tier professional skateboarders, they weren't good role models. They weren't inviting. Yeah. They weren't nice people. Yeah. It gave skateboarders this chip on their shoulder, this nose up to, I'm too good for you guys. And it's even worse now. Like that I saw at World Games a couple of years ago. Everybody was having a good time. Skaters were off in their own corner, other than Beaver Fleming, who, is an amazing person that just likes hanging out. But it's like, you can directly see what happened to their industry because their attitude. And they don't understand that their personality, their career directly is impacted by the healthiness of the industry.
And now take all that and put those guys in. They're the judges. They're the ones who are coming up with the outcome of the event, and that's why these events suck, because they keep putting the people judging. They're ex-riders, they're ex-this, and it's like, I get it. You need to have those people on there to have their expert opinions, but it could have been dumbed down a bit and made I think where X Games that overshot the mark is that they didn't have a transparent system of how it was judged. So the people on the outside watching, they don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they just see it's just like
a number comes
it's
up.
Like you and I, though, if they sat you and me down and we had to watch Olympic figure skating, we don't know how many twists that was.
Yeah. But if they said like 3 twists is worth 60 points, 4 twists is worth 90 points, and they just stuck to that, everyone would get it. And then at the end of it, you'd be like, oh,
you could
backtrack and be like, oh, this is why they won, because of this, this, and this. But with X Games, it's just like, he wins, this guy's second, this guy's third, and for the most part, the crowd knows who wins. You see someone go out and you're like, oh, that was badass. And then when that person's in second, people don't get it and they stop tuning in, and it gets frustrating. And I'm the same. Like when I started doing freestyle motocross, I was watching some of the events and I'd be like, oh, these outcomes are bullshit. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it anymore. It makes me too angry.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. There's no consistency across the board.
People watch tennis. You know what I mean? It's just like huge, because they get it. It's either in the line, it's in, or it's out. And if they just made it black and white like that and had transparent, I think a lot more people, and you can't rewind time, but if we had done it again and had a system like that, I think nowadays it'd be in a much different place, and there'd be some kind of union structure to it, some kind of organization, some transparency on how it's judged. But that's another subject. But that part of my life definitely drove me to step away from competition and start following these other ideas I have. And I'm stoked. Now I'm working on, I've always wanted to fly. It's always been like in my blood. When I was a kid, I always dreamed of flying. And now I'm doing my pilot's license. I've been skydiving a bunch, and I'm working on some stuff to take to the air. So it's like, for me, it's like, I know I'm so energized now. Like it's kind of, it's been good for me to kind of step away for a bit, figure out what I want, figure out the family balance, and then we're moving forward.
Well, that's going to bring me to my second point that I wanted to make about you is the fact that you're not just throw an idea to somebody else and say, this is what I want to do. Let me know when it's ready. You're an engineer. Like you had to build a lot of it and take us through that. Like, let's start with the first world record jump. Like where did that idea come from? And then what was it that you were like, well, shit, I could do this?
Yeah, the first world record jump, like I got out of motorcycle riding 15 years old and started being an electrician. Halfway through my apprenticeship, started riding again. My buddies are like, dude, you're awesome on a dirt bike. And I'd always kept it from my friends that I rode motorcycles growing up, because I had my bike stolen when I was younger, when we lived at different locations. So when we moved to our new place at Kiama, I kept it a secret from everyone at school, from, only my tight friends at Jones's Beach kind of knew. I rode dirt bikes, and for the most part, when people would spot them at my house, I'd come up with some bullshit excuse of whose they were. My dad was a mechanic, they were my cousin's bikes, and I'd always downplay. I never brought it up, never mentioned it. And then after school finished, I started being an electrician, moved out of the house and got my own pad, and then rode dirt bikes. And people saw that I was like really good on a bike. They're like, how the fuck did you do that? So all my buddies wanted to ride because they thought they could just overnight become good too. So kind of a couple of my friends got hurt in that process, but they started then realized that I had 10 years of experience behind me, and that quickly translated to learning tricks really quickly. And my mates just saying, you need to compete, man. Like you're better than these guys, whatever. So
This is almost like TJ Lavin's BMX story. Like, like his buddies going, man, you could beat them. You should enter a competition.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's anyway, so I entered a competition and I won the first one and kind of got unearthed.
Was that in Australia?
In Australia. Yeah. And I was the Legend of Bacchus Marsh, it was called. And it was a Bacchus Marsh event. This is a location in Victoria. And after that, I went and got the backflip dialed in, went to Krusty Demons, met all the crew on Krusty, did a year with those guys touring, and then they were going to do a night of world records. Seth Enslow was going to break the world record. And during the time after that tour finished and the next tour starting, I'd been riding a bit and a lot, and I rode at a friend's farm that overlooked Kiama, which is where I grew up, rolling green hills of Jamboree, and my mate had a house up on the hill, and I would always envisioned riding on his property, and his mum kind of never wanted to do it. And then a friend of mine came up to me when I was doing a demo at Big Day Out, and he said, hey man, I live in Kiama. I just bought, Nick's property, my buddy Nick. And I was like, no way, you bought Nick's house? He's like, yeah. He goes, I'm going to put a house up there. He goes, if you want to ride there, you can do whatever you want. I've got a dozer. And I'm like, yeah, that was amazing. So I was like, I went up there, I already knew, like, yeah, we're putting dirt here, there. They're like, I had it all laid out. So we literally put up a big jump that was, you could jump kind of 100 foot, but if you wanted to go, you could go over the next knuckle and jump like 180, 200 feet. So we set that up, and I think first day I kind of hit this big ass jump and started doing knack Supermans and stuff over it. And so I was going like 200 feet doing these tricks. And then Seth broke his ankle on the Militia tour, and the spot opened up at this night of world records. And Krusty Demons asked me if I wanted to do a world record jump. And although the word was out that they're looking for someone, so I kind of went up there and threw my hand up and somehow convinced them that I should get the ticket. And yeah, it's a whole nother story, but I showed up there, ended up doing the longest jump on a 125, longest jump with the trick on the 250. And that kind of like set the ball rolling. I had 2 world records after that event. I was the most depressed I'd ever been after it. Just my mental headspace wasn't right at the time. But after that, I realized the geometry of the ramp that they were jumping was really high, and you're going super, super high. And so I kind of like looked at the geometry of it, and I kind of like, my mind kind of clicked out that way. So I changed the geometry and flattened it all out and increased the speeds, and obviously went and broke world records after that, back to back, and still hold the current Guinness World Record for the longest jump on a motorcycle ramp to ramp.
390?
394.
378.
378 is the official record, I think. Actually, you know what? I think the official record is 351. And it's just a political thing. But yeah, I've gone a lot further, and there's more to come.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
So then where did trying to surf a dirt bike come from?
Yeah. I grew up surfing, competition surfing, when I used to do the junior board riders at Jones's Beach. And whenever the surf was off, or, just to go check the swell, would ride up the headland, and you could kind of see where it's coming into our beach, where it's going into Minamara, the farm, all these beaches around our area, and you kind of see the south swell, the north swell, and whatever. And essentially from the headland, you could see the swell going all the way out to the horizon. And I'd sit there and kind of fantasize what it'd be like to be able to jump wave to wave. And I remember saying to my dad one time, like, how cool would it be if you had a motorbike that you'd ride on the water and you'd jump the waves? And he's like, no, that's a jet ski, and you're not going to. And I kept sticking, no, but a motorbike. And he's like, yeah, no. And so that's like,
that's an Australian thing.
Yeah, no. Shut up.
I fuck with Bilko about that.
Yeah, no.
How was it? Yeah, no.
It's like, yeah, I know what you're saying, but no, I don't agree.
Or it's just right in the middle. It's not, it's not, no.
Yeah, it's like, expand it. So I was watching I married my wife, Amy Sanders, who's
very
a maiden
early.
name. Yeah. married her early.
Yeah.
Her brother was a world wakeboard champion in 2004, Josh Sanders. And
but she's in like every video of every world record jump, just like a mess, like again.
But she's my soulmate, and it's like so perfect. We're destined to be with each other, which is awesome. But her brother was world champion, and so I spent a lot of time when I was hanging out with her family on a wakeboard boat. The first time I ever went out the wakeboard boat, I claimed that I was like really good, and I didn't really know that she was awesome too. So I thought I was killing it when I went out and jumped wake to wake, and then she came out and backflipped over me. And I was like, I fucking love this girl.
That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, she's a stud. She's really a great athlete and great with her hands and super smart and awesome for me. Keeps me in. She's a little pocket rocker, but she's got a powerful punch on her, and she'll pull me in a line real quick. But so she and I, wakeboarding. I was watching her brother wakeboard, and I just looking at the physics of it, and just like the boat was speaking to me. He kind of was bow surfing, so he'd thrown the handle out, and he's just surfing like kind of like stationary wave style, right? And I'm just like blowing out how it works, and I'm like, wow, the water's come off the hull and it's creating this wave, and blah. And then I'm like, if I put 2 wakeboards under my bike, I could ride it on the water. I just had that epiphany, and went back and kind of drew up a loose design. We built it out. It worked the first time. When I swapped it from bike to bike, it stopped working. And then that kind of like signed me up for like
So let's go to that. Like that first design, what'd you build it out of? Where were you? Like you were just like, dude, I drew this on a napkin.
Yeah, I drew it on a napkin. I called a guy called Bill King. Bill is from the founder of Two Moto, those first snow bikes. So he was a partner in that and a super smart engineer. And I called him, got referred to him through a friend that I was reaching out saying I was trying to build this thing. And so Bill came down to my house, looked at it, and he goes, yeah, this is going to work. And so then he built the first one. And it was kind of just like, just for the sake of testing it, getting on the water. It was a rough design, but it worked. And not initially, but once I went on the water, I realized it needed more surface area. So we put more surface area on. It got better. The controllability kind of wasn't there, but I was on top of the water. I rode it 3.5 miles, like the first or second time.
Oh, wow.
So it was a success. And then after doing that, I'm like, I'm going to cross San Francisco Bay under the Golden Gate Bridge. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to do that, I was practicing on a Honda, and I was sponsored off KTM. So I was like, I need to put it on KTM. And when we put it from bike to bike, the original design that worked got used to make the next one. So essentially it got destroyed. And then the next one didn't work. And then I was like, I didn't know what happened. And we had to do more testing. And Bill was living in Idaho and I was down in Temecula. So I was like, Bill, I'm sorry, man, but I need to take this with me because I need to work on it and figure out why it's not going. I can't keep affording to meeting you halfway at Modesto to do this like R&D. So I started doing the R&D at Lake Elsinore, and it was a good thing I did it in Lake Elsinore because the water's so dirty you don't want to fall off. So it's like extra incentive to pull it off, Yeah. So I was working overtime trying to figure it out, and couldn't figure it out for a while. Like I kept going on the water and losing my momentum, and then having to pull off, and I couldn't maintain my speed, and something was causing drag, and I couldn't figure out whether it was the rear ski or the front ski or what was going on. And eventually I figured it out, and then I went on and doubled Vin Diesel in Triple X, Return of Triple X. We rode the bikes in the water. That was a whole nightmare because those guys on the set changed my design again. Thought that was smarter than
why?
I don't know. I don't know why. I think the guy just thought he was smarter than us and saw my program and thought that we had it wrong and decided he was going to change it and it was going to work better. And when I said it's not, he's like, well, I'm an engineer and what are you? And I was like, I'm the guy that designed this and made it work. And then, so I kicked him out of the job and I figured out what he messed up and changed it. And we got it working again. We managed to do the film, but it was a lot of work in a foreign country and we didn't have all the right equipment.
That was the second Triple X?
That was second Triple X, yeah. So got that working. Then that was after Pipe Dream. And so the designs changed a lot. Now it's working great. And I just did a ice cream commercial in Istanbul where I'm riding along, green screen, towing the girls behind me, but I'm eating an ice cream on the bike. And it was a fun thing to do, but it's cool that that concept's still getting work.
But yeah, you had some design things with that though when you guys were about to film Pipe Dream. You said you had as you first went in, you kept clipping that front. Yeah. It's been, there's been so many times where I've like almost get it working and then fallen short and the design tweaking. And when I went to Morocco to do a thing for Samsung, I actually had it working really good, but
every now and then the design of the front ski was creating like this wake that was going into the back ski, and the back ski would kind of get off that wake and it couldn't recover. So it was like kind of sidetracking down the water, which would lose...
Surfing its own wake.
Surfing its own wake, yeah. And causing more resistance, which would eventually slow me down and essentially I'd sink. So lucky Mike Murphy, he's the guy that invented the air chair and really good with foils and a great mind and person. He kind of like, when I was telling him my design, he looked at it and he's like, oh yeah, well, have you seen the way the fish is at the back of its tail, the way it's designed, it cancels, those two wakes cancel each other out. So once I put the fish in the front of the front ski, that made the rear ski behave a lot better. And then, I turned the front up on it and worked with a few other design features that are very crucial to it handling the way it does. But now it's like I claim anyone could ride it, but Tyler Bierman proved me wrong. He sunk it the other day.
Old Chucky Bierman?
TV. But it wasn't Tyler's fault. It's just, I forgot. I just didn't realize that you have to know the nature of the beast. And he just, assuming it was like a dirt bike, he got on the water and was just wrapping it out, trying to get to go. But there's a point where it has torque and traction, and then it'll cavitate if you go too much. And so he was just revving it out. It was spinning, and he couldn't work out why this wasn't making him go faster, but he needed to shovel the gears so it didn't have as much disturbance. And so you kind of got to ride it in the right rev range, torque settings kind of thing of the bike. But
so you're not overspinning because that paddle's fixed. So it's like if you're going too much, it doesn't have
no drive,
the surface area for it to propel you more, unless those things were deeper.
Right. So yeah, there's a bit to it, and it's like it's finicky, but it's a lot of fun to ride. When you're on the land and you're riding along the land, you can just turn onto the water and ride across the water. It's probably one of the single most enjoying feelings I've ever had. Designing this thing, making it reality, and then riding across the water, going, holy shit,
this worked.
It worked. So,
well, yeah. Like, what was the first wave catching experience like? Because you had to drive out to the waves, didn't you?
We had a boat, so we got a boat, mounted a ramp on it. I was coming down the ramp and off and onto the water, and then we were setting it outside the break. So I'd watch the swell come in. I'd come off the boat and time it and try and shoot across and catch the wave and then surf it in. And then we'd have another boat down there where I could get off on. And the thing about this bike is it doesn't work very efficiently. So if you can't really go against the wind or against the swell, it kind of has like a treadmill effect kind of thing. Especially, I thought I could ride it out in front of the wave and get into the spot and come in, but once you're out in front of the wave, all that water's sucking up. It's the same thing. It's like a treadmill.
You're just in stationary.
Yeah. Yes, you slow down. But the good thing about it is if you're on the face, you can get off the gas and you're literally surfing the bike. And I was just like, just going brup, 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 brup on the face and then when I come off the wave, get back on the gas and ride away from it. So that was an amazing feeling. And that bike still...
Yeah, when you caught the big wave, the final one in Pipe Dream, like... That just looks unreal. Like that shot too. Like it's just like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's crazy. We got the whole film shot in Tahiti, and they're like, we have a banger edit. We're done. This is going to be awesome. And I was like, no, I have to get a big wave. And I set out to get barreled on my dirt bike, and it still hasn't happened yet. Yeah. I will get it though because I'm hard headed like that. But I've actually been to Fiji and all over the world trying to get waves and barrels, but I'm going to change the design of the bike, which is going to make it a lot easier. But when that final wave at for Pipe Dream, we're in the water and got it all shot, and then they're like, look, we have a banger edit. What do you want to do from here? And I'm like, I want to get a big swell. When's the swell coming? They're like, there's a big one coming in a week. So we actually got to hang out for a week in Tahiti, which was nice. But the night before, you could hear the swell hitting, and I was like, I just kind of realized at night, I kind of like, checked in with myself and making sure this is what I want to do. And something about my spirit was like telling me, like, you need to be watch what you're doing here. What are you asking for? What are you trying to get? And I realized like I'm treading on thin water here and thin ice. And Nate called me the next day, and Nate was my team manager at the time, and he's like, man, the swell's massive. It's 10 feet, which is like 20 feet faces. Yeah. And he's like, you don't have to do this. Like it's fucking dangerous, man. We're all concerned for you. Everyone's shitting themselves. Do you really want to go through this? I'm like, I have to fucking do this. And my wife's there with the kids going, you don't have to do this. Like, you got kids to think about. I'm like, I have to do this. And actually when I was going down the face of the wave, I was thinking, why the fuck am I doing this? My life flashed before my eyes for real, and that wave.
How'd the bike hold
ass.
off though?
I got it back. I went missing for a while. I had a valve to pull this valve to inflate the airbags. I couldn't literally get my hand off the handlebar to pull the valve, so we lost the bike. But that managed to get snagged on the reef and opened up, and the bike eventually floated after an hour or so. So we got the bike back. But yeah, it's just pretty stupid idea. Because the motorcycle, I mean, it's a great idea, but it was just dangerous, and I don't recommend it to anyone. But it was just, I had to prove it to myself, and
it looks amazing.
It was a lot of fun. It was amazing. It's going to be badass when I get a barrel one day.
Yeah. Do you have design tweaks now and stuff that you're looking forward to just?
Yeah, I do. I have a massive design tweak that's going to change the whole game, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to piss not every surfer off, but all the keyboard guys for sure. But I mean, I got to do it. Why not? I can't just stop because.
You think this one will give you more power?
Oh yeah,
and torque while you're in the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. So I mean, you got to follow through the ideas, right? You can't leave things that you want to do unturned. That's part of my message to people. I'm like, I encourage them, follow through your dreams. Otherwise, you never know. And then then you always you're not happy. Then later on in life, you're like, fuck, what if I did this? What if I did that? You got to check those boxes.
Was the last 2 years here real good for ideation though? Of kind of what direction you're going in since you kind of finally took back and just hung out for a little bit?
Yeah, it was, I think we all have to do it, and it's hard for me because I'm such a go type of person, but I finally took the time to step back, and it wasn't really good for me mentally. I mean, it was good for me, but I had to go to the bottom of my depths and feel like a piece of shit to realize that I need to turn my shit around. And, I think it's hard for everyone during COVID because not much was going on, but then just having trying to figure out, there's one thing I was just on a path that was going great. And then when, this shit happened with family and that, and I had to kind of walk away, then coming back, you kind of feel like you go off the train and you've missed it and it's gone. The boat sailed, you lost it,
Well, you talked about it earlier. I mean, because I've experienced that too. I'd love to touch on that is when you have those huge wins, when we put something out that's just getting a bajillion views and everybody's happy with us, everybody's praising us, the news, everywhere we look, the news is, oh, these guys are so awesome. And you're like, yeah.
We fucking did it.
And then it's a light switch the next day and everything's just silent. And you're like, fuck, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this last week.
Yeah.
Traveling with Nitro and Travis and Bierman and all those guys. The entire Kevin Windham, the fucking whole train.
Yeah.
You're there for fucking 10 days and then you fly home and you're just like, well, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
How are we looking up there, Sergeant Best? On target, on time, boys! Fire for effect! Here we go! Set! You heard him! Fire for effect!
That's crazy.
It's these just the
extreme
hyper
highs
high and then just silence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And what I've done, I've obviously had all these crazy highs, from winning international events, in the highest spot you can be as far as doing these world records live on ESPN, and it goes around the world, and every news channel wants to talk to you. And then after it, it's you're like, oh, I'm going to take some time off, and you take some time off, and you go hang out with your normal buddies that you grew up with and stuff, and then they're just going to work on Mondays and through the week, and then you kind of getting this weird it's hard. It's easy to lose track.
It's hard because also too, those guys are looking at you like, man, it must be crazy, and you're like, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird space for
You're
sure.
still thinking about the next thing that you have to do now. That's the thing. I mean, same thing. My military friends come over, they're like, dude, what the fuck? This must be crazy. And my head is, man, I haven't done enough yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. And those guys, you can relate. Do a mission and then you finish it, and then it's you need to retire or
what now?
What now? And that's kind of where I'm at. Just trying to figure out what's next. And I have figured it out, but it's taking a while for the dust to settle and to get a direction. And then a lot of other things have come to my attention as well, just while I was often having that time, like my mental health was like one thing that really become apparent to me. Is like, all right, I've been on this train just fucking going like this for so long, and then comes down, and then you struggle like everyone else, you know, and then doubt comes in and all these other things, and you know, addiction can become issues for people, and just your whole headspace, and just like the people who your circle of friends, right? And then before you realize, you think you don't even see it from the outside perspective, but it's nice to be able to take that outside look at yourself.
I've noticed a weird side effect to this is, and it's like this loop you can't avoid, and it's like silence is your enemy, and it's like some of my closest friends have come so accustomed to me being busy, they just don't leave you. They just leave me alone.
Yeah.
But then it's like, hey, why are they quiet?
Yeah,
hey, did I do something?
Yeah.
Hey, what the fuck?
Right?
Like,
so you do that too?
yeah, it's like
you must
hey,
be a cancer.
Hey, are you mad at me? Like, why the fuck don't you even see them out with the other? You're like, hey, why did you fucking call me?
Yeah. Like you're always
like,
busy. No,
oh, dude, we thought you were just like out of town or busy. It's like, I thought you guys were like, you guys were like fucking kicking me out.
No, I'm just saying, like my it's crazy you say that. It's like, especially like I'll go to Australia or whatever and come back, and then all my friends in the US, you know, like they don't hit you up because they think you're gone, and it's like not that anyone's got an issue with you. There's just same deal. And
but
it's
I
like,
do the same shit to other people. Like,
yeah,
some of my guys are like, why the fuck didn't you call me? I'm like, dude, I don't want to bother you. You got a fucking horrible schedule. It's like, you're the one that doesn't bother me when you call.
Right? Yeah, they would have come on every trip. So it's fucking crazy. But it's refreshing to hear that, and it's good to talk about it too and get it out in the open and hit those people up and ask them, you know, just I think that's a healthy thing, you know, just like, you know, communication and all that bullshit. But
there's no, you know, that's one, this is going to be a funny topic to talk about, because it was like, you know, when we started launching into the public eye, there's no manual for that. You also don't know, there's no one to kind of lean on. Like Travis was the only famous person I knew that I could ask certain questions to, because it was like, okay, once the freaking traffic starts running in and you're reading all these comments and now all these people have opinions about you one way or another, or, hey, you're doing X, Y, and Z, or now you have all these phone calls coming in that are people trying to drag you in different directions.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck do you talk to about that?
Totally. It's yeah, I know. Who do you talk to? Because I want to. Travis.
It was like, Travis was my first.
That's
the
great.
first person. The first person that gave me his phone. Like, I remember when he gave me his phone number. Like, it was really early on, and I was on the plane heading back, going, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then like a few days later, he was just like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, I mean, and it's good to have those people in your corner that can give you like sound advice. And Travis probably has some of the best advice out of anyone. So that's cool you have that. But
also because Travis has stayed completely, he's never flipped a personality.
No.
Travis is probably the same Travis that we would have known when he was 15 years old that he is right now. Yeah. It never, nothing went to his head. Nothing. Dude, I've been on set with him so many times and I've never seen an ego or even just, unhealthy anger or bad behavior. Like, it's just like, dude, he is always positive and wants everybody to have a good time around him. So it's like, it's a good person to lean on.
No, 100%. And then that must take a toll too, but he obviously has a great system or just amazing like bandwidth to be able to deal with it and keep himself, sound. But I totally attest to that. Every time I've seen Travis, he's super approachable. He's super friendly. He's a nice guy. He's all around American badass. And that's why there's only one of him. He's a fucking legend.
I remember his first piece of advice for me was no new friends. And when you do have new friends in this circle, he was like, have a grace period, like a grace period.
Improve himself.
Where if they ask you for something within this period, like then that's why they're there.
See, that's smart, because that's where I fall short. I'm like, new friends, I'm the king of it, know. But it's but I just love people, and I don't like to turn anyone away, because the person you turn away is the person that might fucking exactly, and it's like, I remember I got turned away when I was a little kid trying to get an autograph off a professional motocross rider, and I was literally the next guy in line.
Who was it?
I don't throw him on the bus, but it was Craig Dack.
was hoping Mike LaRocco.
Yeah. No, it's an Aussie guy, Craig Dack, and he's a legend, and I've given him shit since, and he owns the team. But to defend him, I've had to do the same thing. It wasn't, I took it personally at the time, but it was just the fact that he had to go out and get on his bike and do a race.
Yeah.
You know, and I just was the cutoff point. But, you know, so it's not a testament to his character at all. It's just one of those things. And you know, I've had to do it before, but one thing I do is like a bit more transparent. I'm like, hey, I can't right now, but come back at this time and I will. And that's like not a hard line of like, get out of here. But, you know, Valentino Rossi did it to me as well.
I had an opposite experience. So like,
Valentino's awesome, but same thing. He had to go for a race, and I'm the annoying kid banging on his fucking pit. Can I get an autograph? It's like you have to say no.
Cut it off,
and that's
at
like,
some point.
yeah, you have to, and that's the healthy thing. And that's my point of my story is like I don't cut it off, and I always say yes. And sometimes then that affects me, and fucks up your program. And no,
I was 10 years old. I was in line at the Seattle Supercross at the Kingdom at the time. It was 1997. Or I was 12, and I was waiting to get Kevin Windham's signature, and then they had to cut it off. So we went and watched the race, and then as soon as the main event for 250s were over, Kevin was sitting behind us with Dottie.
Oh, really?
And so we went up and he signed our stuff.
Oh,
and like the first time I had met Kevin was this last week.
Yeah.
Since then.
Do you remember it at all?
Oh, hell no.
No, yeah. But that's cool.
Hey, man, you remember me in 97?
Yeah, we all have too many hits to the head to remember anything like that. But what a good dude he is, huh?
100%.
What a legend. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's funny, but to the point, you know, one of the things that I'm doing now, and my buddy over here, Preston's here with us, but we're doing...
Why are we here right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, for many things, we got to meet and you know, wanted to come out here and check out the ranch. But it's one thing we're doing is the Epic Journey Golf Charity Fundraiser. It's on May 28, and it's to support people with mental health issues. And it's something that I think we all have. 100% of people on earth have mental health, and it may not be an issue, but it's like, is it healthy or is it not? And it's just something like that we want to talk about, and we want to create a platform where people can reach out if they are struggling. So there's not just like, a lot of people don't have, and I mean, you know, we're just saying you don't know who to talk to, and then some people are busy, and you think you're cut off, and you think they're not your friends, but they are. But then that can put you in a downward spiral and think, oh, none of my friends hit me up, they don't like me anymore. No, everyone's just busy and got their own thing. You're thinking you're too much in your head, right? So there's a whole method to this, and like when I do these record jumps and stuff, like I can't be in my head. I have to be present in the moment, and so I've learned how to get out of my head and be present. And there's tools to do that, but a lot of people don't have access and can't find out how to do that. So we're trying to create a platform where people can kind of, you know, get help for their mental health issues. There's going to be opportunities to just, you know, just to learn more, like find out the keys to how to turn your mind off, how to be your best person, how to like be happy. And the golf charity fundraiser is like, we're just trying to get people in to support this. We're going to put some people through, you know, through treatment. So, you know, mental health is here. And then under that, you have like people that suffer from addiction, to alcohol, drugs, whatever. And then there's layers that goes down and, you know, not everyone turns that way, but other people have other things they do that aren't good for them. So this event is to support that, put some people who are in desperate need through, get them the help that they need, and start our own kind of mental health rehabilitation.
And then you guys, so this is coming up in a couple weeks, or 2 weeks pretty much. And you guys have a program where anybody that wants to help out or get involved, they could buy a ball or... So go ahead and talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So you can buy a ball. It's at $10 to buy a ball. And there's going to be... the winner, it's called the helicopter ball drop. So the helicopter's going to take it up. Obviously, we love helicopters. So it's going to take it up, drop the balls. Closest ball to the hole wins the prize. And it's $1,000 cash to the winner. And then they get to spend a day with us having an epic journey day down at Lake Elsinore. So we have the motocross track next door. So you come and ride with me on my bike and get you totally dialed in. Have a great time doing that. Then there's off-road buggies. We're going to be ripping them around out in the paddocks out there. And then we're going to, whoever wins is going to get a tandem skydive and get to hang out with the Red Bull Skydive Air Force team. And we're just going to have as much fun as we can in one day, get them a bunch of signed gear. It's valued over $5,000.
That's a deal. Yeah, $10. $10 for a ball. If you win, you get to go ride dirt bikes with Robbie. You get to
and we'll fly them from wherever they are. So the website is epicjourneyracing.com, epicjourneyracing.com. Go there. All the info's there. And
Epic Journey Racing. Matthew, we could get that right down here with a cool little graphic, can't we?
Yeah.
Just, woo. Yeah, he says yes. He says yes. You guys are going to see it. You see that?
Awesome.
That's real-time, off-time graphics right there.
Yeah. And so what we're asking is we're asking for people to come and play golf with us. You can register. If you can't make it, you can just donate and or you can become a sponsor. So if there's brands out there that, Black Rifle Coffee or someone like that, I don't know, just thinking of brands out
that are already part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Party Ben will be there.
Yeah.
Representing Havoc Studios and Black Rifle.
I can't wait to get down with Party Ben. Hey, but
I want to warn you. Party Ben is going to be a long life friend of yours.
Him and Matto are going to get along great.
You haven't met him yet, but yes, I went through training with him in 2003. We've known each other ever since, so 18 years now. He's a diehard moto fan, so he is very, very excited for this.
Awesome.
Very, very skilled engineer as well. He's one of our best and brightest in our career field in the military because he helps design and implement a lot of digital systems that are aiding us in close air support now. So awesome. The guy is fucking brilliant, but he's also the most fun that you'll ever have.
Yeah, I love it. See, new friends.
Yeah,
I have to give him the grace period, the Travis Pastrana grace period.
Well, he's fine. He's used to the he's used to the circle. So yeah. He gets the
wild card, the VIP pass. Yeah. Because
backstage, the only thing he'll want is he might not be. Your wife might not be a fan because he's gonna be like, no, yeah, let's just.
That's awesome. She knows all my friends are that type of people. So that's great. So anyway,
Epic Journey
Racing.
RAISING.
Register, donate, sponsor, buy a ball, win some prizes.
We sponsored.
You should. And thank you to everyone who's sponsored, like
Luke,
Rebel supporting.
I know you're watching this, Luke. You got like 50 businesses.
BBK.
You should all 50 of your businesses should be sponsoring.
Yeah. So we're just trying to do some healthy stuff, right? Do we cover it all, brother? We hit it out of the
Is there anything else we're missing on this one?
Preston Durford's going to be there.
Is this an annual thing?
It's going to be an annual thing.
So it is.
So, yeah.
So
this is our first
run.
Do
I get some kind of legacy, like where I got first dibs next year?
We're going to have Lord Hot Dog is going to come next.
Maybe we could send some hot dogs to this thing if they're ready in time. I don't know if they will be. I think they're not ready until mid-June. But damn, I would love to have done that. Just send you guys a ton of dogs. Yes, next year. Next year we're going bigger.
Yeah, the hot
Can we
dog,
do it in Texas next year?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do it in Texas.
Maybe do a jump in too, some sort of stunt.
Yeah. Well, by that time I'll be jumping in, so I don't have my rating yet to jump in. So Sebastian Alvarez is way better skydiver than I'm ever going to be, but he's going to be jumping in with the American flag, and we got some incredible support by amazing brands, and just going to have some fun. We're going to be blasting music, and essentially, we're pushing sobriety. We're pushing about you can have fun sober.
Yeah.
And so that's
where I'm currently at right now.
Yeah.
Sober. I'm liking it. I mean, I like waking up. You definitely feel better.
Feel great. Everyone's heard of it, but the Wim Hof breathing stuff is so great. You can get high on your own oxygen. And I don't think people realize that. And it's the coolest, cleanest high ever. It's fucking awesome. It makes you feel great. It brings out ideas. It quietens your mind. It turns your brain off. It's makes you feel great. So I highly suggest doing that. If anyone's suffering out there, it's always good to just kind of give out a few bones of what you do to help yourself. That's one thing I do to help myself a lot is sometimes when you're getting stressed out, catch your breath, take some time, take some deep breaths. It really brings your energy down.
There's a doctor I want to introduce you to. I think you guys will have some really good synergy, whatever that corporate term is that you guys like to use. But she's an ex-Air Force pilot that has developed a really cool strategy along the lines of what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. One of her biggest messages is, if an airplane fails and the oxygen masks drop, what good are you trying to put oxygen masks on other people if you can't breathe?
Right.
So it's get yourself breathing first before you try to.
See, I watched that airline things. I've done millions of miles, flown all around the world, and when I watched that at the start, I'm like, hell no, I'm putting it on my kid first. But you should put it on yourself first, because I've actually know what it feels like to have asphyxia, I think they call it, right? Where you run
Hypoxia.
Hypoxia.
Yeah. Hypoxia.
Hypoxia.
Yeah.
Anyway, that stuff, like, once you don't realize you're running out of oxygen until it's too late.
You're dumb.
You're dumb.
Like, because I've done that in the military, where they take us in the chamber and then they show you got to play cards, you got to pick colors.
Oh, you've done that?
Well, yeah, because they'll make you hypoxic and then go, all right, point at the yellow circle, and you're just like,
yeah. That's how I am most times.
Were you a Marine in another life?
Possibly.
Yes, I got you guys.
I'm on my 144 life form, apparently. So my shaman tells me, but here to get it right this time. But yeah, man, the breathing stuff's crazy. So, but it's but that's like, it's foundation. It's so cool to do that and take it into, like, I did a lot of the breathing work before I did the pipe dream, surfing the wave, because I had to kind of prepare myself if I was to get held down, which I did, and it saved my life. You know, like, I actually, going back to the story, like when I was that wave, I realized it was a bad idea. When that wave broke, it lifted me up and slammed me down, and then the bike hit me in the back, so I lost all my oxygen. And luckily, I'd been doing this breathing technique where once I lost my oxygen, I kind of just like, oh, fuck, I'm done. And then I just kind of relaxed and just told myself, you have oxygen in your body, you can survive, and just like kind of went with the motions, relaxed. And then I got this sixth sense, which is, luckily I grew up surfing, but like I just had that sixth sense that I was going to pop up in the surface. So I literally, I was getting this crazy turmoil ride, and then surfers know that feeling when you pop up and you catch a breath, but then it sucks you back under. And so I just had that, I knew that I was about to surface for a second. And so as I surfaced, I took that breath and got back down. And that saved my life for sure. So training is key, you know?
Yes, dang.
And the breathing stuff's awesome. So
after the golf tournament, though, what can we expect stunt-wise or cool-wise or internet-wise? What's coming up for Robbie?
So I'm working on, I have full-time filmer, which is Ryan Ritter over here. He's a badass dude.
He's wearing a monster hat, though, so, you know.
Yeah, we can't judge him.
We'll talk about that after the show. He's about to get a 300 milligram coffee can to the head.
But yeah, so Ritter's like joined our team. The Madhouse is where I live at the house. And, you know, the kids have been wanting to do content forever. And I told them, all right, you want to do content? Do it. And, you know, they're little kids. They're doing a great job, but it's like, all right, we need to like kind of get some pros on here and show them the ropes. So the family's been wanting to do content for a while, and I just haven't been in the right headspace to do it, to be honest. And now I kind of am. So we're going to do that. So we got the whole Madhouse kind of like YouTube channel about to start, kind of giving people like a look into the family life, what happens at our house, what happens like when I go and do these crazy stunts and the family comes with me and how they respond to it, and just what happens behind the scenes that people never get to see, because that's the craziest shit that goes down, like, you know, everything. So we're going to be shooting all that. But the next stunt on my agenda is just something I came up with just because I'm learning these new skills, flying aircrafts and jumping out of planes. But the guys at Razor, which is their kids' electric toys.
Oh, Razor. Like Razor scooter.
Razor scooters and stuff, right? So they make the drift carts, they make these little MX 550 electric dirt bikes, and they have like the hoverboards and all these cool shit that my kids love and I love. And I was talking to the guy who does all the marketing there, Malcolm McCassie, great dude, part of the industry for a long time. And so I said to him, like, you know, what about this idea? So the idea is I've designed this ramp that kind of looks like a mega ramp, you know, but it's a smaller one, and it's going to be hung underneath the helicopter, and we're going to take the helicopter up to 6,000 feet. I'm going to be on the ramp the whole time and go up there, and once we're up there, roll down, and then just see how many backflips I can do on this little electric dirt bike. There's the Jeremy McGrath electric Razor dirt bike.
The Jeremy McGrath. Where's Jeremy these days?
He's just living his best life down there in Southern California. But I think Jeremy's still a big part of the Supercross, doing stuff with Kawasaki and just been a legend he is.
I can't break away from him being a Honda guy. It's just, it's sacrilegious to me.
Yeah. I still see Jeremy with 1-800 collect on his butt.
Yeah.
He's number one.
Right.
Yeah. And the half horseshoe earring. He's such a trendsetter. But yeah, so I'm going to be going down this ramp and doing like 10 flips, and we're going to do like a little bit of a thing with the kids, because I'm trying to integrate the kids into my life as much as I can. And so that's the next stunt, next cab off the rank. But we literally have like a heap of shit coming up, right, Rita? We have a lot of stuff coming up. And just like as far as, yeah, I mean, just a lot of opportunities, which is cool. I'm going back to Istanbul, Turkey to ride the water bike from Asia to Europe, continent to continent, which will be cool.
It's going to be another record. You're going to need to get a bigger house because the walls are filling up.
Yeah. So, yeah, lots going on, which is fun. And
well, that's great. Where can
bikes.
everybody watch all this stuff at?
where can they watch it all? It's going to be the Madhouse on YouTube. I'm not sure the actual address, but it's like the Madhouse.
The Madhouse.
Yeah.
Just search that.
The Madhouse. And
you're on Instagram as well.
I'm on Instagram, Robbie Maddison on Instagram. And I have the whole family, my wife, Mrs. Amy Maddison, kids are Cruz and Jagger and Rocco Maddison. But yeah, we're just all out there trying to do that. Cruz is actually, my kids is what's stressing me out right now. They want to race dirt bikes. So Cruz has been hitting the ramp, hit a 50-footer the other day on his 65 and jumping bigger than I went at his age. And so we're just going through the ropes, you know. We're watching MotoGP the other day. I'm like, this is what you should do. But yeah, no, it's fun, like just having the kids doing their bike ride and stuff. And now they want to skydive and stuff. So we'll see about that. But
well, awesome. We're about to kick off today and have a good time. We're going to do a number of different things. And I'll post a bunch of stuff on freerangeamerican.us on the blog. We'll get some photos and stuff up of everything we're doing. And then we'll see our crew out there with you in a couple weeks at the Epic Journey golf tournament, where you can enter a contest for $10 for a ball.
I'll drop, win $5,000 package.
Possibly get a whole day with you.
Or you can come and play golf with us, sponsor a hole, whatever you want to do.
It's actually it's not expensive to join the tournament. How much is it?
No, it's like $195 per person, or it's $700 for a team of 4, I believe. And sponsor a hole's $250.
What golf course is it at?
It's Tierra Creek Golf Course at Rancho Santa Margarita, I believe. And it's
California.
All proceeds are going through the Red Songbird Foundation, which is they are 501c, I believe, and they are supporting like the Malibu Treatment Center and a big key player in the space. So we're supported by the key players, and the funds are going to go to, it's totally trackable, and it's all going to go to supporting people that need it. So that's
awesome.
That's what Robbie Maddison's up to.
We can't thank you enough for taking the time to jump on a plane and come all the way to Texas.
Mate, it's been so much fun. Now the fun starts. Get to go hang out with my boy. And,
hell yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks, Robbie. Take care, guys.